hurt.
He said, "This is your house. You can come and go as you please. You don't have to tell us." So he gave me a lot of that freedom that I needed. When I went to get glasses, I was going to get these funky glasses that they helped me pick up the styles that they didn't want me to be stuck in the 80s. You know what I mean? So he helped me along. I was very distrustful of people. I would go to a restaurant with my uncle, and I would not sit with my back to the door. I will always put my back to the wall. You can't give your back to anybody. You can't. But my uncle broke me out of it. After I was released, life becomes normal, I guess. But it was not an easy transition. I didn't have enough money, to whatever I needed for school or whatever it was. People always expected me to be angry and frustrated, but, you're just happy to be free. But, I went to see my grandpa after I was released, his grave. That's when it hit me. That's when my anger came out. My best friend. I looked at my dad and I said, I wish this detective would come see me now. See what he's left me. A grave. My grandpa, I lost him. I would see police officers and I start shaking. Like literally sweating. There was times that I wanted to go back, because in there you're somebody. Because you get institutionalized. I felt that I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't feel I fit in society, which is the biggest reason why I went to law school, because I felt at home there. I felt that I fit in.
After Chris was released, he earned his bachelor's degree. One of his professors said he should go to law school, a suggestion that surprised him. Chris enrolled at the University of Wisconsin Law School, the same school that helped to exonerate him, and eventually became an attorney.
The biggest fear being a defense attorney is losing a case where the guy's innocent. Defense attorneys, at the end of the day, they don't have much but that argument in front of the jury. But it was one case that stuck out in my mind. I got assigned the case by the public defender. I was a private attorney, but they will farm them out to us. I call the client and I tell him, okay, I read the complaint, I read the police report. Now you tell me your side of the story, because I know they're going to leave stuff out. I always let them talk. This particular client reminded me of me. The only thing he said, I'm innocent. I didn't do this. When I went in to see the DA, he was pulling out his offer sheet, a little plea offer. And before he pulled it out, I told him, you need to put that back in your briefcase, because we're going to trial. My client says he's innocent, and everything I see points to his innocence. I basically said, look, your law enforcement lied to you here. I pointed out, this is the lies. I told him just all the flaws. And I said, look, if you really want to go to trial, let's go, but I will win this case. So he dismissed the charges right then and there. The guy was facing 14 years. I care about my clients. I hear them. To me, they're not just a number, they're not just money, they're just people. Because I know when I was in there, I didn't get that.
Chris has become an outspoken advocate for criminal justice reforms that could help prevent false confessions. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, in nearly 1 in 5 exonerations in America, the innocent defendant either falsely confessed, was implicated by a false confession, or both.
False confessions happen, and they're going to happen as long as we have people in the system that want to cut corners. They're going to happen. But that's the kind of thing that I'm trying to tell lawyers and officers and congressmen. You need to ensure that these interrogations are videotaped from beginning to end. You need to take steps. Prosecutors need to look through the evidence as they're taught in law school. They teach us to think logically. And a lot of these things could be solved, these false confessions could be prevented. For the public, just know this. Law enforcement wants to talk to you. I'm sorry, law enforcement. But you need to get an attorney. Because those things can turn on you pretty quick. But for people to say they will never confess, you don't know what you would do under pressure. But it's not a normal thing that happens to you. So false confessions happen. And, for the public to say they don't happen and it could never happen, they do. We have to fix the system so that we can reduce those incidents. Redemption and compassion come to mind when I look at what happened and how we're all gone since then. Advocating for the wrongfully convicted. I see that not just in what happened to me, but I see that in the media. For wrongfully convicted, finally there's compassion.
Compassion is how Christopher Ochoa found the strength to endure more than a decade of wrongful incarceration. Compassion is also what led Chris to work as a criminal defense attorney and as an advocate for criminal justice reform. He is dedicated to helping the public understand why innocent people confess to crimes they didn't commit. Next time on For Life the Podcast, we meet a musician whose family was everything to him and whose wrongful incarceration ripped him from his children's lives.
They were growing up and I couldn't watch it. I couldn't see it. But it was extremely difficult, to see that. But I had to keep a smile on my face. I never wanted them to see me cry. I never wanted them to know how bad I was hurting, how much it was affecting me, that I was in prison and I wasn't there to protect them.
For Life, the podcast, is produced by Treefort. Executive producers are Lisa Ammerman and Kelly Gardner for Treefort, and Nicholas Austin and Nathan Staudinger for Sony Pictures Television. Our producer is Tana E. Seabrook, with additional production help from Jamie Tenenbaum, Tim Schauer, and June Rosen. Tom Monahan is our senior audio engineer and sound supervisor, with production and editing by Jasper Leak and production assistance from Elijah Wells. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe, rate us, and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps to raise awareness and get the word out so more people can hear these powerful stories. The stories in this podcast are real. While the television series was inspired by my life, that story, including all characters, events, incidents, portrayed scenes, and dialogue, is fictitious. And be sure to watch Sony Pictures Television and ABC's drama series, For Life, Tuesdays at 10/9 Central on ABC. I'm Isaac Wright Jr.